Okay, well, I guess tonight's debate was supposed to be on who are the true Hebrews, and whether or not the people that are in Israel today that are claiming to be Jews, are they truly Hebrews or Hebrew Israelites according to the flesh or not? Now, Brother William's stance is that the people that are living there now, that are in the land, that are occupying the land, are the true Hebrews. My stance is different. Now, the term Hebrew itself refers to Eber, Heber, the progenitor of the Hebrews, and he was the great-grandson of the patriarch Shem, who was one of the three sons of Noah, right? So by this, we already know if that Hebrew people, that the Hebrews come from the lineage of Eber, who came from Shem. So in order for you to be a Hebrew, let alone an Israelite according to the flesh, then you must be from this lineage. So tonight my plan is, to provide a listening audience with more than a sufficient amount of proof, proving that not only are the people living in Israel today are not Hebrews, but also that the ancient Hebrews were a nation of so-called colored people, both then and now. But before I get into it, I want to clarify that Absolute Bible Truth is not one of these racist organizations that promotes racial superiority towards anyone. We would love God just as much if Jesus or the Hebrews were white, brown, green, or blue. God is not a racist, and we aren't either. We're a Christian group who just happen to understand that the Hebrew people were black. So I haven't put that out there. Let's go ahead and begin. After the flood, we know that the world had to be repopulated, and it was Noah and his three sons were to do this. And of course, we had the aforementioned Shem, that was one of his sons, and then you have Ham, who is from Bible dictionaries called the father of the dark races or the Africans. He had Cush, which is modern day Ethiopia, Foot, which is modern day Libya, Mizraim, which is modern day Egypt, the area of Egypt. But the people, let me clarify, the people that are living in Egypt today are not the original Egyptians. I think most people know this. The Persians actually invaded Egypt during the 7th century with the Middle East Islamic and Arab conquest, and they just drove them out of there. The original Egyptians actually reside in the Sudan right now, and they've been there ever since the 7th century. But the son that I want to focus on right now is Japheth. This is the one I want to focus on because we know that if you're a Hebrew or an Israelite or anything according to the flesh, then you must come from Shem. There's no ifs and buts about it. Shem had a brother named Japheth. Now, if you came from Japheth, that means you're Japhetic. You know what I'm saying? So if I can show that the people that are living in the land today come from Japheth, then there is no way in the world they could possibly be Hebrews, let alone Hebrew Israelites. So let's start at Genesis chapter 10, and this is I'm gonna read verse 1 through 5. It says, "Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And unto them were sons born after the flood. The sons of Japheth, Gomer, and Magog, and Madai, and Javan, and Tubal, and Meshach, and Tiras." Remember the name Tubal. Verse 3, "And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz," remember that name as well, "and Riphath, and Togarmah. And the sons of Javan, Elisha, Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodadim. By these were the isles of the Gentiles." Remember that. By these were the isles of the Gentiles, not Hebrews, not Hebrew Israelites. It says, by these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, everyone after his tongue, after their families, in their nations, right? So let's go look up, let's go look up some of these people that are in this seed of Japheth, right? Now this is from the Smith Bible Dictionary. It's on page 278 in the Smith Bible Dictionary under Japheth. And it reads, "One of the three sons of Noah. The descendants of Japheth occupied the isles of the Gentiles, the coastlands of the Mediterranean Sea in Europe and Asia Minor, whence they spread northward over the whole continent of Europe and a considerable portion of Asia." So as we can see, Japheth is the father of the Europeans, and if you look into the names and history of his descendants, you can see that in greater detail, but for time's sake, I'm just going to focus on a few people and their nations that come from Japheth. So, remember I said the name Ashkenaz, remember Ashkenaz. Now, this is also in the Smith's Bible Dictionary under Ashkenaz. It's on page 59. And it reads, "One of the three sons of Gomer, son of Japheth. We may probably recognize the tribe of Ashkenaz on the northern shore of Asia Minor in the name of late Ascanius and in Europe under the name Scandia or Scandinavia. Noble considers that Ashkenaz is to be identified with the German race. Again, Ashkenaz is to be identified with the German race. So we can see that Ashkenaz is German, and that he's the progenitor of the German race. So let's go to another one though. Another name I said, remember, it's Tubal. Tubal is a direct son of Japheth. All right, and same Smith Bible Dictionary, and this is on page 714. It's under Tubal. It says it's reckoned with Javan and Meshach among the sons of Japheth. Josephus identified the descendants of Tubal with the Iberians, that is, the inhabitants of a tract of country between the Caspian and Euxine seas, which nearly corresponds to the modern Georgia. Josephus states that Tubal is the progenitor of the Iberians. Now, historically, there are two ancient Iberians. You had one that was prehistoric, and you had the later, the one that developed into later, more progressed Iberians. And the original ones you had, they were called the Caucasian Iberians or Georgian, and they inhabited the east and southeast of the Transcaucasus region in prehistoric and historic times. Then you had the Spanish and Portugal people or Portuguese people of ancient times were simply known as Iberians. That's after they lost the Caucasian. They took the Caucasian name off of it, but they were all in the same region, the same place. But nonetheless, we see that these two nations of people were not nations of color. I mean, I don't have to make somebody see that the European people that were living in that land were, these were nations of white people. They call them Caucasian Iberians. See, so let's go remember those names: Josephus, father of the Europeans. You have Ashkenaz, the German, as well as the Iberians, which consisted of European Spaniards, Portuguese, and ancient Caucasian Iberians. All right, so now we're going to see who these people are that are living in the land today of Israel. Now, Brother Williams' claim was that the people that are there are true Hebrews, true Hebrew Israelites. All right? So if they are, they need to come from Shem, or they need to come from Eber, or they need to come from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, one or the other. But if I can show where these people don't come from them, there is no way in the world that they could possibly be Hebrew Israelites. But let's go to the World Book Encyclopedia. And this is on Book 10, under the I section. I'm going to look up Israel and the people of Israel. And this is on page 480. Page 480, People of Israel, World Book Encyclopedia. And I'm going to read the fourth paragraph. It says, the two main groups of Israel's Jewish population have traditionally been the Ashkenazim and the Sephardim Jews. The Ashkenazim, who come from Israel from Europe and North America, are descendants from Jewish communities in Central and Eastern Europe. The Sephardim immigrated from the Middle East and the Mediterranean. Also, it says today the designation Ashkenazim and Sephardim are less important because there are many Jews who immigrated from other areas or who grew up in Israel. And but I'm gonna jump down to another part, which is very telling about these people that are in the land today. Let's go to the language of the people in Israel. Now it says many Israelis also speak English, and many Ashkenazi Jews speak Yiddish, a Germanic language that developed in Jewish communities of Europe. These Ashkenaz, German. I told you already. We already read that from the Bible dictionary, and now they're telling you now this in the World Book Encyclopedia. Ashkenaz, the father of the Germans. Ashkenaz, they speak a Yiddish, a German language, which is pretty much German mixed with Hebrew. So these are the people that are in the land right now. Ashkenaz and Jews. But that's not it. We're going to go back, and we're going to go to the World Book Encyclopedia. We're going to look up Jews. And this is in the World Book Encyclopedia, Book 11, J through K. It's on page 120 right here. This is on page 120. Okay, here's Jews. It says Jews, are the descendants of an ancient people called the Hebrews. During biblical times, the Hebrews who came to be called Israelites lived in what is now Israel, but their country fell to a series of conquerors, and the Jews scattered throughout the world. This we know, we can read that throughout the Bible, where, several nations came over and conquered the Jews several times because from the things that Israel was doing. Okay, but let me skip down. It says, there are two broad groups of Jews. Most Ashkenazim are descendants of members of Jewish communities of Central and Eastern Europe. We just read that Japheth was the father of the Europeans. The World Book Encyclopedia is telling you that these Jews that are coming from over there come from Europe. Also, it says the Sephardim are descendants of Jews from Spain, Portugal, or other Mediterranean countries. We just read where the Iberians or the Caucasian Iberians came from Spain, or they were the Spaniards, the Mediterraneans, the Portuguese. And right here it's telling you the Sephardim are descendants of Jews from Spain, Portugal, or other Mediterranean countries. And I think the problem with people get messed up is they hear the term Jew and say, oh, well, they're claiming to be Jews. Well, the problem isn't so much that they're claiming to be Jews, because anybody that's keeping the ways of Israel can say that they're a Jew. Paul called himself a Jew. He said, I'm a Jew. But he also said that he's a Benjamite. You know what I'm saying? So at the same time, you have people that being a Jew is one by what you do, not what's on the inside. By blood, it's by your actions. Now, granted, you can be a Jew by blood, but nobody in this world right now can prove that. You know what I'm saying? Nobody can prove that right now. But the people that are in the land right now, as we can see, these people don't even come from the seed line of the Hebrew Israelites. They don't even come from the same seed, and it's in their name. They're telling you this. It's in your name. So here we have Ashkenazi Jews, Sephardic Jews living in Israel today. You got Ashkenazi Jews come from Central and Eastern Europe. Ashkenazi Jews also speak a Germanic language called Yiddish that developed in Jewish communities of Europe. We also have the Sephardim, or Sephardi. Some people say Sephardim or Sephardi Jews who are descendants of Spain, Portugal, and other Mediterranean countries. People, listening audience, these people are not Hebrews. And what's funny is that most of these people that are living over there, they will tell you this. Most Jews in America will tell you, yeah, well, we know that. It's in our name. They know that they come from Japheth. They will tell you this stuff, but yet we still have people who want to sit there and kick. And it's not so much that this topic is controversial. It's just a lot of people don't put the time into to actually investigate this and to see what this is. Now, these people, they come from Japheth, and Japheth was the progenitor of the European. As the Bible states, the isles of the Gentiles. He did not say Japheth, oh, this is the Hebrews, the people that I chose. These are my chosen elect. No, that's not what it said. But for now, I guess there's plenty enough evidence to show that the people that are there now cannot possibly be Hebrews, cannot be Hebrew Israelites. They just cannot. If they want to claim that they're Israelites by spirit because of their works and the things that they do, fine, that's different. But to say you're a Hebrew when in your name you're telling us that you're not a Hebrew, it's absolutely it's astonishing, really. And then what's funny is that when the Jews that are over there now, they have the nerve to tell people when they feel like somebody's talking about them or they're being looked down upon, they'll jump up and say, "Oh, you're being anti-Semitic." Anti-Semitic? You're not even from Shem. It's in your name. You will tell people that you're not even from Shem, but for some reason we're anti-Semitic. It makes no sense to me. But that's all for right now. That's my time for now.